My name is GM Jesse Cry, and this is Test Your Chess, an opportunity for you to test your intuition and calculation against the best players in the world. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a position, then you should definitely hit pause, set the board up, and take up to even 30 minutes until you feel confident that you think you know what the answer is. I'll then explain the position in my own words, and then in the description, you'll have a chance to see how you did compared to other players. Here we're going to have 4 positions, and so let's start. One funny thing about what we're doing today is we're going to do Garry Kasparov before he became Garry Kasparov. His name originally was Garrick Weinstein, and for the Soviets and for even his friends, it was too Jewish sounding. And then he became this super person with Garry Kasparov, and it really is like a life-changing experience to acquire this super name with a K. All the greatest, Karpov, Carlsen, Cry, we all start with that sound. So let's get into it. And in this position here, he's playing Alex Yermolinsky way back in the day. And Alex has just played knight e7. So white to move, and I'll explain my own thoughts. Pause the video, take some time. All right, so this one should have been easy, but Garry missed it. He should have played g4, bishop goes somewhere, and then this bishop is trapped. But, and this is a common thing for many players, we sometimes trust that our opponents are going to not give us such opportunities. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, here's our second position from the same game, both players in a little bit of time pressure. White to play. All right, so Garry went on to lose this game by playing the move King F2. And all this game, by the way, will be linked in the description. You can see the game in its entirety. And Garry going on to lose this game creates, I think, my connection to him in terms of like who's beaten Garry that I've also beaten. And I think it was just that Yermo's played so many games against American players that they're all related, let's say, to Kasparov through Yermo, winning this game right here. So in this position, the simplest way for white is to take the bishop and then to push the pawn, and it's honestly very easy. We're going to win the rook for the pawn. All right, here we have our third position for the 11-year-old Kasparov, who is still Weinstein, and it's a very complicated middle game. Black takes the rook, and white to play. What should he do? All right. The temptation of many players here might be to play queen f5, but that is incorrect. After queen d7, you can trade into an endgame, but the pawns are going to run, and they are very frightening indeed. And so what Garry understood is that a6 is the only path to victory. And what's important to see is that the black king doesn't actually get out of dodge. Because the light squares are going to be hammered on c6 and b7, and really importantly, black can't prevent the dark square bishop from coming back because the pawn is on f6, it is pinned. So white will get to play f5, and in the game what we saw was king b8, if king takes, rook b1 anyway, and it's very important that black can't stop white playing f5. f5, and really the game's over. So it went like this, but we're mopping up now. Okay, so that's the third position. Let's do our final one. This one's going to be a little bit harder. All right, so we have our fourth and final position, and take a moment. Now, this one is, I think, very difficult. It also shows a lot of the future calculation and attacking skill that Kasparov's going to show. This comes out of a King's Indian attack, and if you look at his games, early King's Indian games, just fantastic. So it's very useful and great that he's playing it on the white side against the French as well. I think this position needs to be understood conceptually, at least for mortals. It's likely that Kasparov saw nearly to the end of this thing. This could have gone many different ways. There's a lot of different variations. But I will say the computer does not get it at first. When you put in the move, it takes a while for it to realize, oh right, black is totally lost. So let me try to explain it in conceptual terms. With bishop g5, you are going to land a knight on f6, and you are going to open up the h file if he takes. And the problem is really a problem of the French structure in general, which is that it's very difficult for black to bring his defensive resources back towards the king side. So let's look at how it happened. If something like rook g8, something like king h3 is going to come. So black did play the most, let's call it, consequential move. Takes. This is pure, beautiful barbarian chess. Rook h8, check to the miserable king, rook over. And look at this move. Snip, boom. Again here, the computer doesn't get it. It's just like, no, I don't see it. And so it just makes this combination for an 11-year-old kid all the more impressive. Snip, check to the miserable king, rook e1, exclam, f3. Man, oh man. Check, resigns. An amazing game, and really points to a lot of the calculative prowess and attacking prowess that Kasparov later showed. And I think one beautiful thing about looking at Kasparov's games for calculation is he really was the best in calculating these positions where he had the initiative and the attack. So I hope you join me again for our next video in this series, and please check the description down below to see how you did compared to other people. All right, bye-bye.